name is Angela Crisco. I'm the Executive Director for the School of Continuing and Professional Studies. I oversee the Employer Education Partnership, in which many of you are associated with. And so today we are starting our first webinar series with Christopher Jackson, which we're super excited to be able to offer our employer partners. So today, Christopher Jackson is joining us. He is a communication and marketing specialist, and he's going to be talking about social media basics today. So thank you for joining us. I'm going to turn the time over to Christopher. Feel free to ask questions along the way. Drop comments and questions in the chat. I'll be monitoring that for him. But we will end up wrapping up about 10 minutes to 1 to give you time to get back into the workday. Christopher.
Thank you so much, Angela. So I'm going to share my screen. All right, so like Angela said, my name is Christopher Jackson, and I am going to talk a little bit today about social media basics, which we all live in the digital world. We all partake in social media one way or another, if we like it or not. But today I hope to shine a little bit of a light on how social media can be beneficial to all of us in the business. So like Angela said, I am an alumnus of Georgia College and State University. I studied film and world languages and cultures. Likewise, I'm also studying global strategic communications at the University of Florida, where I'm working to achieve my Master's of Arts. And right now I'm a communications and marketing specialist at a telecommunications company, where I have a little bit of a background in faith-based communication as well, and nonprofit communication. So hopefully we can blend this today and kind of give us some insights that we can take back to our workplace, maybe our boss, and we can implement this and move forward with some very useful skills. So before we get started, I want to know a little bit about where everybody's coming from and what role social media plays in your current role in your position. So if you want to, feel free to raise your hand or speak out in the chat, or just unmute yourself and let us know. We're a small group today, so we can have a little bit of an informal round table.
Adela is from the city of Savannah.
Beautiful.
And Adela, what role do you play with social media? Are you the key contributor? She says, I'm the administrative coordinator and webmaster for housing department at
CHSA.
CHSA.
Well,
which is Community Housing Services Agency. And so I update the website for the housing department within the City of Savannah's website, and I also update Community Housing Services Agency's website. I also do all the social media for CHSA, as well as anything that falls under the marketing world.
yes.
For CHSA. And actually, that's my passion, so I love it.
I love it. Well, this is perfect because I feel like sometimes the nonprofit or governmental entities, sometimes our budgets don't get to look as nice as some of the corporate budgets. But let's get started a little bit into some of our theory and ways that we can take back into the workplace. And I'm going to keep this chat monitored, so feel free to stop me at any time. So why is social media important for small businesses? I think, as we all know, we live in a globalized world where we are interconnected through social media. We all are consuming it on a daily basis. But more so, communication through social media is becoming a new norm. And we need to, as communicators, learn how to use this tool and leverage it as really a skill and a tool that we can employ in our places of work. So hopefully through this webinar, we'll look at a little bit of best practices, and likewise how different social medias are used and how we can leverage each individual one to kind of garner a workplace collective where we can have different types of stakeholder communication, likewise with marketing, and if we're working in nonprofit, kind of informing and educating our stakeholders. So let's move into this a little bit. And I have an introduction activity. We won't stay too long on this because I know we're running a little bit behind. But has anybody seen recently some social media that they thought was amazing?
I think Dove is a really good company that does a good job with their marketing. They do really good with emotional appeal and how they target certain audiences. So I
That's
think that's a
exactly
really good
right.
one.
Yeah. And I've actually used that as one of my examples. So we'll come back to that and talk about how using emotions and different things can cultivate an audience and really engage in your social media presence. So when you're looking at social media as communicators, I want you to start to critique and look and see what is good about it, what is bad, and maybe how can we make that better. So when you're scrolling through Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn throughout the day, as communicators, we can be inspired by other types of media and how we interact with the media that we consume. Maybe you're looking at a billboard, or maybe you're looking at a post that inspires you, and consider, why did it make you feel that way? So being informed on the media cycle and how we interact with the media is always a great thing to do. Thank you for that example, Angela. So before we dive into social media, I kind of want to cover a little bit about different media types, because I know that social media is crucially important, but likewise, we have different types of media. So we have paid media. So this will look like any of your sponsorships, your social media that is paid, maybe Google ads, paid Facebook and Meta ads. And we also have earned media. So earned media is very important. And this can look like being covered by the press. And this often comes organically and is often perceived to the public as the most valuable kind of media. And likewise, the journalists are also covering on social media. So this is the great thing about modern journalism, is that we can see it on social media as well. So getting in front of that kind of media coverage is great when you can earn some media coverage. And then there's shared and social media that we'll be covering today. And this includes organic social media, but also content and reviews that other people are writing about you on social media. So it's always great to have promoters on your social media, or people that are advocating for you and your business. And also, we can't forget about our own media. So own media is our websites. So linking your social media to your website is also a great way to have your stakeholders be able to see your social media and be able to interact with it better. So to have a little bit of social media theory before we talk about specific types of social media, I want to introduce the 199 model of social media. And bear with me because this is a little bit technical, but this is crucially important to understand how we communicate, how we receive the communications and the marketing that is on social media. So think of it this way. It's going to be a little bit of a triangular pyramid. And there's only 1% of people who are creating content. And these are the top influencers. These are the opinion leaders. And truly, this is us. We are the ones who are making the media and putting it out into the public. And this is either done with social media posts, tweets, or anything that we are creating and putting out into the world. And then we have a 9%. These are the enthusiasts, or the people who are really interacting with all the media that we create. And these are really the ones that we want to have our backs. So these can be our advocates, or they can also harm our brand image. So we need to take care of this 9% who often interact mostly with our media. So they can retweet or repost or like and comment. And that's the kind of the interaction we want to garner through that 9%. And the biggest chunk of the vast majority of people that are using social media are within the 90%. And when I was learning this, I was very surprised, because I would think more people interact with social media, but then I kind of thought of a great example is my dad. So my dad uses Facebook all the time, and I see him on Facebook, but he's a ghost. No profile picture, nothing. He's just there. He's not interacting with any of the media, but he's always on it. I see him scrolling. So these people are using what the 9% of people that are commenting and sharing, and they are taking that consideration in and formulating their own opinions. So it's important that the 9% are creating positive feedback and interacting, so the 90% can really have an opinion that is well-rounded about the brand that we want to cultivate. And let's talk a little bit about voice and tone for social media. So voice and tone is very important. So we want to have a unified voice through our messaging. And this can be something like friendly or playful or an expert. I work in the telecommunications industry, and we often try to use a professional or an expert kind of voice. So we don't want to look silly. We want to be perceived as someone who is a expert in the industry of fiber internet. But likewise, there's different ways that you can create a tone or a persona that can help a brand. A great example of this is Wendy's. Wendy's went the tactic of being very playful with their marketing. And if you've seen any of their tweets, or now X, they call out their competitors. And I know we're working in nonprofit and corporate communications, so we might not go that route, but there's very much different ways that you can cultivate a brand. But with that brand, you want to come up with language and purpose where you stay true to it. So coming up with a brand guide, maybe considering who is our common person that we're communicating with on a daily basis. How do they think? What do they need? And through those things, come up with a kind of a persona that you cater to and try to stay on track with the messaging that you deploy to those stakeholders. So this is a quick example, and I know we didn't post this on social media because we were trying to keep it intimate with our program today. But if we were to market this event to the general public, this was a mock-up that I made for a persona that we might deploy this to. So people that are maybe introverted, who are thinking more than feeling, but also flexible with their schedules and slightly unflexible, so they can have time in their schedule for this. And these would probably be people who are in the workforce, and they are in the United States where we are marketing to. And these are professionals looking to advance their career and learn more about communication. And the pain points that we would have are people struggling to acquire information, or maybe the theory behind communication. And this would be the persona or the person that we would want to market this course to. And the great thing about social media now is if you're marketing and you have the luxury of paid marketing, you can tailor make ads on social media to fit this exact persona. So branding for social media gives us an opportunity to have a visual recognition. Being able to see things as you're scrolling is crucial to cultivate a brand. The more times you're able to see a logo or a piece of collateral, the better. And that goes straight into a psychological association. So there's a theory in marketing that is called the marketing rule of 7. And they say that you have to see a piece of collateral or media 7 times before it makes an impact on you. And this is even being changed in recent, that they're saying attention span is shifting and it's taking more and more. So the more that we can post and get in front of our stakeholders and cultivate a brand that is maybe photos of us in the media or out in the public, or us, what we offer, brings us more touches and more opportunities to be in front of our own brand image. And brand awareness, just who we are, being able to post organically about maybe a business meeting that we had with local senators or our local county commissioners. Like, what do we stand for as a brand? And being able to convey that through social media is very effective. Community growth, people who share and repost can help you garner more and more followers that can lead to sales or more educated individuals in your stakeholder group. And likewise, effective stakeholder communication. Overall, using social media is a great tool because your stakeholders are going to be more communicated with, and they're going to have an opportunity once more to see what your brand is about. So some key messaging for social media is we can inform our stakeholders, we can educate our stakeholders, we can tell our own story to our stakeholders, we can remind them about different things, events that we're hosting, remind them to pay their bills. Thanking stakeholders, it's important to keep a professional and all your stakeholders happy. So thank them for their follow, thank them for the hitting milestones, and apologizing to stakeholders. I know we're planning on doing crisis communication later in the semester, but apologizing is a great effort on social media when done correctly that can mitigate crisis communication and kind of help combat different crises. So let's talk a little bit about Instagram. So Instagram is one of the newer platforms that we're going to talk about, but it has garnered over 2.4 billion users and has 200 billion, excuse me, business users. The demographics are mostly between 18 to 24 and 25 to 34-year-olds. So it's a little bit of a younger platform, but likewise, contrary to most belief, it actually has 51.8% male usership. So a lot of times we think of this as a digital scrapbook, which in essence it is, but we also have many male users using this platform as well. And a great way to think about Instagram is really using it as a digital scrapbook where you can document and show your most glamorous moments of your company. Think of it as a trendy and young environment where fresh photos and the best moments that your company has can be documented and people can interact with. So when using Instagram, this is going to be what your platform looks like. So up top, we have now had the implementation of stories. And stories is also a great use of collateral where you don't have to necessarily post, but you can remind your stakeholders about something and it will disappear after 24 hours. And our in the number 2 section is an actual example of a post. This will be the timeline if you're using mobile, what it would look like if you posted. And on number 3, we see that we can like, comment, or share with this little airplane, a paper airplane. And we can use the function like this to slide on mobile and swipe to see more posts. And number 4 is our guide to, so we have our home, search, and we post in the center. And then newly implemented, instead of that like button, we're going to see Reels. So Reels have just been implemented on Instagram, and it's kind of mimicking TikTok, where we see quick little ads that are very effective to use if done correctly, because they garner a lot of attention from stakeholders. Video is the most useful piece of collateral because it gets the most viewership. And the last one is your own profile. So if you click the last one after the Reels, you're going to be able to see your own page. And this will be what your Instagram profile looks like. So when you go home to that home button, this is what it's going to look like. You're going to see up top your profile picture, and having a clear profile picture is always important. Try to use a logo that isn't cut off or something that represents your brand well. And then one thing about Instagram that we need to take into account is you cannot put a hyperlink into a comment section in your captions on Instagram. So it's great to have a link tree posted on your bio in Instagram. And then likewise, we have some highlight reels that you can implement in the 3 section that are very effective, where you can go back and use moments that were important to your business. So let's talk about Facebook. Facebook is a huge platform with a lot of opportunity to market and communicate with your stakeholders. It's one of the most widely used platforms in the world, and it has a great opportunity to use paid ads and different meet a wide variety of stakeholders. So the average American spends about 30 minutes on Facebook a day, which is a wild statistic. And though it's seemingly considered an older person's social media, that's not necessarily truth. We're seeing that a lot of younger people, 25 to 34, are also using this platform. So the stigma behind Facebook being of the older generation isn't necessarily being found to be true, that many people across different age groups are using this, and we can target with different uses of Facebook ads, and this platform is truly an effective one to use. Likewise, the content that's on this platform is classic posts. We can use just text. We can use photos, videos, Facebook Live. We can also use links and Facebook stories. So this is an example of what Facebook's going to kind of look like in the mobile format. So we have the little navigation tools at number 1. Number 2 is going to give us an example of some stories. And in number 3 would be an example of what a post will look like if you posted a video. And 4 is going to be your opportunity to react on Facebook. And Facebook gives you some more reactions than other social media, which is very unique. And you can also comment and share in the same little area on 4. So this is an example from the Continuing Professional Studies Facebook. So we see that they have a beautiful background photo, and then they have their logo in their profile. And then number 2 is going to give you the opportunity to have a bio where you can tell a little bit about your brand and give your stakeholders an opportunity to know a little bit more about you before they follow or like your page. And then 3 is going to be navigation tools to your posts, about, and photos. So LinkedIn is one of a newer platform that as business professionals, we can use to help and educate our stakeholders. So LinkedIn is becoming the world's largest professional network. And we see a lot of, we see 56% of LinkedIn users are male and 46 are female. And a lot of millennials are using this. So there's an opportunity to get in front of a lot of the younger generation by using ads and education collateral through this. And a lot of different things can be done on the LinkedIn platform, but a great way of using this would be knowledge, tips, ideas, and information. All of these can be used and deployed in your social media strategy to help your stakeholders and the people that you want to acquire as customers, or just want to inform the general public about your brand. So this is an example of what the Continuing and Professional Studies LinkedIn looks like. And LinkedIn really is similar to the Facebook format, where we have our name, our background, and our profile picture, as well as a bio, and the navigational tools exist just below them. And then we also have the different collateral that we've posted with images, videos, and articles. And that's another one that's unique to LinkedIn, is we can post professional articles. So we can take our professional insight from the industries that we work for and educate the stakeholders around us and help them acquire more information that we wish for them to know. So creating social media content can be a struggle, as we all know, but there are some tools that we can use to help us. And Canva is your friend. If you haven't met Canva, let me introduce you to her. She is very easy and user-friendly. So if you haven't had the opportunity to perfect your Adobe InDesign or Photoshop skills, Canva is a great way to immerse you into the opportunity to learn some basics, have some content already made for you, but also get your hands where you can manipulate the different collateral as well. PicMonkey also is similar to Canva. Hootsuite has opportunities for you as well. And they also give you the opportunity to schedule content. So if you're looking for a social media calendar or scheduling content, Hootsuite is a great example of a platform that you can use to implement that into your social media strategy. But the Adobe Suite is really the industry standard. And if you're looking to upgrade from Canva, once you've kind of reached your creative limits with Canva, you can learn Illustrator, Adobe InDesign, and Photoshop. And these tools will help you take your collateral to the next level. But starting with Canva is a great place to jumpstart your business and create some introduction to social media. And finally, I wanted to give some examples of effective social media content. Spotify had a great campaign that they rolled out a few years ago. If you use Spotify, you get a Spotify Wrapped each year at the end of the year. And this was a genius marketing move that everybody shared on social media that was actually designed by an intern in Spotify, which I thought was incredible. And this led to more people switching to Spotify to Apple Music because everybody wanted to see their Spotify Wrapped. Likewise, like Angela pointed out, Dove has rolled out their National Selfie Day and also kind of went with their self-esteem project where they've chose to go with an emotional appeal to marketing, and it has been very successful for them. I also wanted to point out the marketing in the Barbie movie that we probably all saw because it was everywhere in the past year, really. And what was so interesting that stuck out about this campaign in particular is that they spent $150 million on their marketing budget, and the production budget for this movie was $145 million. So they spent more money on marketing this movie than it cost to actually produce it, which was very unique, which that shows with Barbie grossed the 15th most than any other movie of all time. This shows that if you spend money, you have the potential to really garner a big result from it. So this was a great example. And likewise, Starbucks always uses an emotional appeal that kind of wants you to feel a vibe or a sense of a feeling truly with their marketing. You see on TikTok here, Spotify always elects to have their fall and make you feel like it's a certain time of year or a cozy feeling through their marketing. And being able to do that is an effective strategy. Some honorable mentions before we end, and I wanted to point these out, is X. And I know we mentioned that a little bit. X is now the new name of Twitter. And it is an opportunity where you can use a lot of people use it for press releases, and it's a great tool if you want to use that platform as well. And then there's TikTok, which TikTok is a probably a topic in and of itself because it's such a vast and newly acquired media group. TikTok, if you have a younger platform, is a great opportunity to get a lot of viewership. If you're looking to upload longer videos, YouTube is also a great example of a place that you can do that. Nextdoor, if you're looking to understand what the community members around you are talking about, Nextdoor is a great platform. And now probably the newest of them all is Threads, which Threads is based off of Instagram, but is similar to X in its essence of it is a written-based platform where you can kind of use the platform of Twitter almost where you send out your thoughts. And this is the end, but I would love to take some questions or hear some different things that y'all are using in your strategy or questions that you have that you would like to implement in your strategy.
Any questions, thoughts, or comments about social media basics? Thank you, Christopher, for that overview.
I think Chick-fil-A does a good job too with their marketing.
Yeah.
They use real people in their commercials. They appeal to feelings and experiences, the experience that you'll have walking into a Chick-fil-A restaurant versus what you would experience with a normal, typical fast food restaurant like McDonald's or Burger King or something like that. So I think they do really good with also adding the element of comedy, making their commercials funny at times with the cows. And fun fact, I was in New Orleans, and that's actually where those cows are made. It's the same company that does the floats. They actually make the Chick-fil-A cows. They had them all set up in this factory. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
The more you know, that's fun.
Yeah, yeah.
But yes, Chick-fil-A does a great job, and their storytelling is near perfect. You get to see, and it's the uniform media each time where you see them in the white backdrop, and you know it's Chick-fil-A from the little jingle at the beginning, and it's similar each time, but their story is so unique and so true to their brand that their storytelling leads on all their different social media. But that's a great example.
So I was going to mention Publix, because every year, depending on the season, you start to see commercials where families are brought together, and it's all about the ingredients you can purchase at Publix. And the appeal is just, it's fantastic the way their commercials bring families together. And I think that is really the message. When you sit down for a meal on a Sunday or whatever day of the week it is, you bring everyone together, and there's unity and love. And this is all because we brought them together to eat. We cook this meal, and it all comes from this great grocery store, which I love going to Publix, by the way.
It's always great when we can see something that can convey a feeling. And that's really like kind of what we were talking about with Dove, where it's the ethical or the emotional appeal that makes us feel a certain type of way, that makes us want to shop there or spend money at a certain place. But yes, that's a great example.
I'd have to agree with that too, Adela. There's around the holidays, you start seeing those commercials, and I can remember, it's been a few years ago, but there was one that came up, and it was, the mother and the daughter were baking cookies or something in the kitchen, and it just immediately drew on me thinking about my mom, right? And being in the kitchen with my mom. And I was like, oh, that's so sweet. And then it was like a Publix commercial. And I was like, because they don't tell you until the end, right? It's a story.
Right.
So yeah, they do a really good job.
They do, yeah. It makes me want to go out there, buy those ingredients and cook or bake or something. So it does the job.
It did its job. That's awesome.
Well, thank you all for being here today. I have put in the chat a link to a survey. It's 4 or 5 questions. If you don't mind completing that survey for us to help us better our webinar and make sure that we're providing you the content that you would like to learn more about. Again, we are so grateful for you taking time out of your busy schedules to join us today. Next week, we are going to be doing an employer education partnership info session. So if you have team members that would like to learn a little bit more about Georgia College and what we can offer your team members, it's going to be next Thursday, 12 o'clock, and then I'll follow up with an email to you so you have a link to register for it. Thank you again so much. We hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day and have a great weekend.
You guys do the same. Thank you.
Thank you.